Are you ready for a new adventure? Time to travel back in time, let's go! Are you ready for a new adventure? Let's learn about the past with Anna and Leo.
Hi friends! Welcome to Unlock This, a podcast from Honest History, where we join our friends Anna, Leo, and Percy on adventures through time and uncover some really cool stories along the way. My name is William. I'm 6 years old, and I love learning about history, especially new stories that I don't hear about in school. I can't wait for today's story, and I think you're gonna love it too. So let's dive in.
Anna, what's that you have in your hand?
It's a book I checked out from the library. I think you'd like it, Leo. It's all about animals in space.
Wait, do you mean animals in outer space?
That's right. Do you want to hear more about it?
Yes, please. When did this all happen?
It was back when scientists built the very first space rockets. Here, let me show you. See, this page says scientists started sending animals to outer space in the 1940s and 50s. That was about 70 years ago.
Does your book say why they did this?
Well, at that time, humans had never been to outer space before, and scientists wanted to see if living things could survive a trip around the Earth. So they started experimenting using animals. Cats, dogs, fish, frogs, rabbits, mice, monkeys, and even guinea pigs have been to space.
I like that picture in your book, Anna. It's a picture of 2 dogs.
Those are very famous dogs. They're Belka and Strelka, the first creatures to go to space and return safely. I was just reading all about them. On August 19th, 1960, they rocketed into the sky to make history. Hey, Leo, maybe that's who we can learn about today. What do you think?
I think that sounds like our next adventure to the vault.
Let's see if we can find Percy first. I wonder where that mouse is. Oh, there you are, Percy. Were you just sitting here the whole time?
I think he heard us mention mice going to space. What do you think, Percy? Would you like to go on a rocket ship?
He said he would only go if there were snacks.
I wonder, do you think they sent food up with the animals when they first went to space?
I don't know, but maybe that's something we can find out. Percy, can you help us? We want to learn about these 2 dogs named Belka and Strelka. Is there anything in the vault about them? Let's follow him inside. It looks like Percy has thought of something to show us.
And he's moving so fast. Hurry, Anna. He just ran into the other room.
Do you see where he went?
I think I see a tail over there behind that box.
There he is. He's sitting on top of a trunk. I think he wants us to open it.
Here, I can do it.
What do you see, Leo?
There's some kind of outfit.
Outfit?
Yeah, I guess that's what I'd call it. I'm not really sure. It kind of looks like a sweater, and there's 2 of them. One of them is red and the other is green. Come look.
You're right. They look like little jackets, and they're definitely not for adults. They're way too small. There's papers in this trunk, too. Oh dear. I don't think this is English. I have no idea what these papers say. Well, that explains it. Percy said these papers are written in Russian.
I wonder why they're important.
Well, hopefully we're about to find out. Do you feel that, Leo? I think we're gonna travel. Hold on!
Anna, we landed on a street somewhere. I wonder where we are.
Do you see any street signs, Leo? Maybe that will help us.
I see a sign here, but I can't read it. The letters on the sign look like the letters we saw on those papers in the vault.
Then that sign must be in Russian.
So we traveled to Russia?
Well, it wasn't called Russia at this time. Look at that red flag on top of that building over there. That's a flag of the Soviet Union.
The Soviet Union? What's that?
Russia used to be part of something called the Soviet Union. I read about it in my book. Here, let me find the section. Here it is. My book says that the Soviet Union existed from 1922 to 1991. It was a powerful country, and it was one of the first to have a government based on a system called communism. My book also says that the Soviet Union and the United States had a difficult relationship. After World War II, the two countries entered into something called the Cold War.
Cold War? What does that mean? Do they fight somewhere in the winter?
That's a good guess. But my book says a Cold War is when there's a lot of tension between two countries, but they never fight each other directly.
So the US and the Soviet Union weren't friends after World War II.
No. People were afraid a war could break out at any moment. And there was also a lot of competition between the two countries. One way they competed with each other was in space. The US and the Soviet Union raced each other to see who could send people into outer space first.
The space race. I read about this in one of my history magazines.
That's right, Leo. My book says the space race started when the Soviet Union launched the first satellite into space in 1957. The race lasted until around 1975. By that time, America and the Soviet Union had sent many astronauts into space. The US had even landed the first people on the moon.
I wonder what year we've traveled to. Do you think the space race has started?
I'm not sure, but maybe we can walk around and look for some clues. Let's head this way.
There's more people over on that street. Oh, we can cut through this alleyway here.
Wait, Leo, do you see that? I think I saw something run around the corner. Look,
I don't see anything. Are you sure?
it's a dog!
Oh, I bet it's hungry. It doesn't look like it's eaten anything in a while. Do you think it's lost?
Well, it doesn't have a collar. I don't know if it belongs to anyone.
Over there, quick, before it escapes.
Anna, I think those two men are trying to catch this dog.
You take that side and I'll take this one. Careful now, we don't want it to get away. There, got you. Now don't worry, Pooch, we'll take good care of you. There will be plenty of food where you're headed, and you might even go on a big adventure.
Leo, the men are taking the dog to that car over there. Let's follow them.
They're putting the dog inside the car. If we move fast, we can hop in before they close the door.
Phew, we made it.
Hi friends, are you enjoying today's episode? I'd like to take a quick break from the story to tell you about another great place to learn about the past. Honest History creates magazines and books for kids that are filled with fun stories and activities that bring history to life. From pirates to spies to great inventions and so much more, you'll learn about interesting people, places, and events from around the world that made history. Created for kids ages 6 through 12, you can sign up and receive new adventures delivered straight to your doorstep every quarter. Just visit honesthistory.co. That's honesthistory.co to sign up today. Oh, and here's a special offer for our podcast listeners. Use code UNLOCKTHIS for 10% off. Again, that special code is UNLOCKTHIS. Okay, let's get back to the story.
Anna, we just parked and the men are getting out of the car. Let's get out and see where we are.
The men are taking the dog into that building. Come on, Leo.
What is this place? Wait, do you hear that? I think it's coming from this room. The men just went in there.
Well, this room is interesting. There's a bunch of dogs in here.
You know, we did ask Percy to help us learn about dogs that went to space. Do you think these are some of the space dogs?
Percy says you're right, Leo. This must be where they train the dogs before they sent them on their next mission. I wonder if my book says anything about this. Let me check. Okay, so on this page, it says that many of the space dogs were strays that the scientists found on the streets of Moscow.
I guess that explains why these two men were trying to catch that dog on the street earlier. But why did they want stray dogs for the space program?
Well, scientists thought that stray dogs would be a bit sturdier than your average house pet. They would be up for the challenge of space travel. My book also says that most of the space dogs were girls. Female dogs were smaller, they fit into the spacesuits better, and they were easier to train than the male dogs.
I wonder if any of these dogs in here are Belka and Strelka. Those were the two dogs we wanted to learn about, remember?
Maybe we can find them. Here's a picture of the dogs in my book. Belka is all white, and Strelka is white with a little bit of brown fur around her eyes and on her ears. Do you see any dogs that look like that, Leo?
Let's see. Not this one. Or this one. That one is all black. So, not that one either. Aha! I found them! Look, Anna, it's Belka and Strelka.
Why, hello there. It's very nice to meet you, Belka and Strelka.
Anna, some scientists just walked into the room. And they're taking the two dogs with them. I wonder what they're doing.
Let's follow them.
There's some strange machines in here. Do you see that big machine over there? What do you think that's for?
I don't know, but it looks like the scientists are putting the dogs inside of it.
They're spinning them around on that machine? It kind of looks like a weird merry-go-round, but way faster.
Percy said that the machine is called a centrifuge. It's training the dogs for outer space. See, when the dogs go to space, they will feel a lot of force on their body as they rocket into the sky. That machine helps the scientists see how the dogs act, and it also helps the dogs to get used to it.
Well, I don't know if I'd like that. That is too much spinning for me. I think it would make me sick.
Yeah, space training wasn't easy. The space module on the rocket is very small, so the scientists wanted to get the dogs used to small spaces. The dogs rode on the centrifuge, and they also went on simulators that acted like a rocket launch. Depending on how well the dogs did, they would be selected for the next mission.
It was probably very dangerous to go to space. I mean, scientists hadn't even sent humans to space before. How did they know it was safe?
Well, they didn't know if it was safe, so it was very dangerous. The Soviet Union sent about 50 dogs to space. While most of them survived, there were a few who lost their lives on the missions. The very first animal to ever go to space was a dog named Laika, and she didn't make it back.
Well, I hope Belka and Strelka will be okay. I don't want anything bad to happen to them.
Don't worry, Leo. Their story has a happy ending.
Hey, Anna, I just noticed the scientists are writing on those papers. What do you think that's for?
They must be writing about the dogs. They needed to keep good notes during the dog space training. Their notes helped them pick the next space dog.
Well, I think you should come back and look at their papers. They look a lot like the ones we saw in the vault.
You're right, Leo. Maybe those papers we found were some of the scientists' notes about Belka and Strelka.
That's it! And you know what that means. We're about to travel again. Hold on, Anna. I think we've traveled to a different building. Where do you think we are?
I'm not sure, but there's a calendar on this wall. It says it's August 19th, 1960. I know that date. That's the date Belka and Strelka went to outer space.
Anna, come look out this window. There's a rocket ship.
Whoa, that's not just any rocket ship. That's the Sputnik 5. That's the ship Belka and Strelka are on. And they aren't alone. There's a rabbit, 2 rats, flies, plants, and 42 mice with them on that ship. Thankfully, you're not one of those mice, Percy. Leo, look! The rocket! It's about to take off.
And there they go. Good luck, Belka and Strelka. Safe travels. Does your book say how long their trip will be?
Yeah, they'll be in space for just over a day.
Whoa, that's a long time. I wish we knew how the dogs were doing.
Wait a second. I just remembered. I read that the scientists put cameras in the space module so they could see the dogs. I wonder if there's a TV so we can watch them.
Maybe there's one somewhere in this building. Let's go this way.
I think I hear some people talking. It's coming from inside this room.
Oh, there's some scientists in here, and it looks like they're watching a screen.
It's a video of the dogs in the spacecraft. See? Now we can see what they're up to.
The video isn't very clear, though. It's kind of hard to see. I'm not sure if dogs are moving. Do you think they're okay?
I hope so.
Wait, what just happened? I think one of them moved.
Belka just barfed. Looks like they're awake now.
She probably got dizzy spinning around in space. I'd probably barf too.
I think we all would. But the dogs will be awake and okay the rest of the flight. And then, sometime tomorrow, they will land safely back on Earth.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I think they deserve a good nap and a nice meal when they get home.
Me too, Leo. And they will definitely get a big welcome when they get back. The whole world will be amazed by those dogs. Belka and Strelka will be the first to orbit the Earth and return safely.
Hey, Anna, that picture of Belka and Strelka in your book, I just realized something. The dogs are each wearing a suit. Belka is wearing a red suit and Strelka is wearing a green one. Don't those look like the jackets we saw in the vault?
You're right, Leo. Those jackets we saw must be Belka and Strelka's spacesuits. You figured it out. And you know what that means.
We're back in the vault.
Well, what did you think about that adventure, Leo?
I'm glad we got to learn about those space dogs. I think they should get a lot more credit for what they did. It was not easy.
No, it wasn't. If you think about it, animals were the very first astronauts. They went where no one else had ever gone before. And Belka and Strelka were an important part of the story. Those dogs showed us that space travel was possible.
Welcome back. That sure was a great adventure. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna tell all my friends about this amazing story. That's all for now. But if you want to learn more, be sure to check out my favorite magazine for kids, Honest History. There's a ton of stuff to learn in each issue, and I love the fun activities and questions. Bye! This episode was narrated by Nikki and JoAnn Schinderle and written by Heidi Coburn. The production was read by Robot Pirate Media. To learn more about Honest History, visit us at honesthistory.co and follow for updates on social media.